attention, please. Your attention, please. Your attention, please. And now the moment we've been waiting for is here.
I have something to tell you.
10 seconds remaining.
And we're back for our
5
third game of the
seconds
evening here at the American Dota League. Team Liquid and Artyk, two teams already in action, taking on the same team in Inside Esports. Inside, unfortunately, coming up short against both squads and really underperforming, taking some pretty ugly losses. Team Liquid actually beat them in 25 minutes, and Artyk got past them in about 18, if I'm not mistaken. So, or maybe I have those reversed. Regardless, this is going to be one of the more interesting matches you're likely to see coming up, at least in the looking ahead in the ADL. At least it is to me. You see, Artyk just with their win over Inside moves past moves past Dignitas to third in the standings, tied up with Team Liquid. I got to remember, it's EG and Team Liquid are number 1 and number 2. I think Team Liquid actually technically moved into first place after their win over Inside, and Artyk moved past Dignitas. Now, what makes Artyk such a story is the fact that they've already beaten Dignitas. So a very big upset. And Artyk, the pride of Peru, the Peruvian All-Stars, have really been showing us some good Dota. They put together a very nice record. They're at 5-2 right now. Liquid, if I'm not mistaken, is at 6-1, with EG actually falling into second place now as they're at 5-0. So a perfect unbeaten record for them at the very least. But Liquid taking a loss already at the hands of EG, now going to be taking on the Giant Slayers, going to be taking on Artyk, looking to add another professional team carcass to the den. And again, Artyk with the first ban Treant Protector. And again, I'm so busy with the D2L and the ADL, I don't get to watch a lot of Dota from day to day that I'm not actually casting. So I'm just going to guess that he's been getting a lot of play elsewhere. Haven't really seen it. I mean, I saw a tree picked earlier today.
10 seconds.
But
10 seconds remaining.
Haven't really seen all that big a hubbub around the pick, at least from my casting desk. But Artyk, and that's like the second or third time. We had a first pick Treant in game 1, then we had a first ban Treant in game 2, and now first ban Treant in game 3. So a lot of folks don't like living armor, apparently. Anyway, Liquid takes out the Chen and the EO. Artyk getting rid of the Gyro. They're going to get a bat if they want to. And I'll tell you a hero who is really just not getting picked much at all, at least in the D2L and ADL matches I've watched since the latest patch, since 6.78. Magnus is just not getting a lot of love. And I understand he had his reverse polarity nerfed, and I understand that the Bottle Crow
10 seconds remaining.
actually has a substantial effect on his viability in mid lane. But if a DK can run mid, Magnus can run mid, okay? That's just how that is. Nyx Assassin and Darkseer going to be the counter picks to the Bad Rider coming out of Artyk. Liquid just putting together a very solid squad, likely to be Bulba plus IX Mike on those heroes. Fluff occasionally takes over the Nyx Assassin role. We'll see if that's going to be Smash running the Bad Rider out of mid, or if it's going to end up defaulting to one of their other very talented players. For those just tuning in, again, we've already got 2 games behind us. Liquid and Artyk involved in both of those games, both taking on the same team in Insight, and both teams got a win. Also a reminder that the D2L will be off tomorrow. It means I can sleep in a little bit. Shh, don't tell anyone. They'll make me come in early anyway. But I'll be able to sleep in a little. But then we're going to be back in with some ADL action. Going to be back in with a pretty big broadcast schedule. I want to say it's 5. I could be wrong. In fact, I'm going to check it real quick. I think I have access to it right off the bat. And yeah, it will be 5 matches starting tomorrow at noon, and that will be noon Pacific Standard Time. So for you East Coasters, we'll be running from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. and West Coasters 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. or 5 p.m.-ish. The last game will start at 4 p.m. and then we got a packed-ass Saturday coming up after that. That'll be 8 hours, 8 matches coming out in ADL on Saturday. Sunday I'll be off, but doing a doubleheader for the D2L. I don't ever get to sleep, by the way, that I mentioned that. I don't ever get to do anything. Like I seriously have to make sacrifices, like sacrificing sleep to do laundry at this point. And I wish I could dry clean everything. I wish like I could just take an entire bag full of laundry. And I actually heard there's a service somewhere here in San Francisco that will do that for a cost. But no thanks, because rent's crazy here, and I like to live frugally. I'll just have to give up my sleep. I give it up sleep for other reasons as well. But moving back to the draft, The Bane picked up by Artyk to round out their front two. Second ban phase underway. Naga Siren has really been getting a lot of love from a lot of professional teams, and she is very strong mid.
10 seconds remaining.
With the recent buff to Riptide, not bad damage on that. Not the most mana-intensive spell either. Once she gets a bottle up, she's going to be able to spam it pretty consistently. And what I was talking about last time we saw her played in mid, where actually a Slark, handled by Insight, was doing a pretty good job. I really would have expected Slark to struggle more than he did. But just really wasn't under that much pressure and actually out CS the Naga from Artyk that time around, played by Smash.
Remaining.
But she's really good. She can last it from a distance. With the Riptide, and Riptide's AoE is actually deceptively large. The actual graphical representation, whenever she actually uses the ability, doesn't really do it justice. It's a lot bigger than it seems like it would be. She can use it last hit. She can use it much the way Dragon Knight can use Breathe Fire. To not only last hit, but to do some harassment damage. And she has Ensnare, which I think is a very important element to talk about, because 9 times out of 10, when teams want to put pressure on early, they try to gank the mid lane coming out of the jungle. And doing that is much easier whenever you have a guaranteed ability to lock a hero down and Ensnare, one that can't even, even against a Lifestealer, can work because it goes through Magic Immunity. Not to say that Lifestealer is actually going to get picked. And he fell off the map quick, man. And again, I speak from personal experience. No idea what's going on in the defense or star ladder except hearsay. But in the D2L and ADL already, he's just not being picked, not being given a lot of attention. And his nerf was really kind of not that big a deal, I don't think. I mean, open wounds level 1 isn't as strong as it was, but it still goes up. And by the time, the supporting cast you run with him is really all that differs from that. But still, the lack of flexibility that he once had, his ability to run very, very well out of the offensive and defensive tri-lane, the fact that he is a little bit weaker, he's a little bit more situational in offensive tri-lanes, has forced and relegated him, at least in the games I'm casting, back to his relative unknown status. But, they're a big part of that, too, is just trends. Casting professional Dota now for coming up on about a year and a half.
5 seconds remaining.
Heroes just fall off and come back randomly, like DK. I remember, DK got a buff, and that helps. And we see him picked up here by Liquid, by the way. That will be a mid DK. I would wager just about anything on it. But even before his recent buff in 6.78, DK was already really getting back into popularity. We were starting to see teams pick him up a lot more frequently. And it's because everyone just kind of figured it out. It's like, oh, okay, we all hate Lone Druid. We all hate Lifestealer. We all hate these physical damage dealers, these single target physical damage dealers. How do we deal with that? How about a guy who gets plus 12 armor for free just for hitting level 9? How's that? How's that grab you? And that's basically what DK does. It's actually closer to level 10, level 11. But, the standard build is go 1-1-1 right out the gate, get a point into Breathe Fire, a point into Dragon Tail, and a point into Dragon's Blood, then focus Breathe Fire and Dragon's Blood, equally take your ult when you can. And you end up at level 10. So long as you've got okay-ish farm, you'll be on pace for a decently timed BKB. And then suddenly you're sitting on 20 armor, 20 base, or not base armor, but 20 armor total with Magic Immunity. And what in the hell does a team do to that if you're on a good pace? And the best way to get there, to have your levels when you want them, how you want them, is to run in mid.
I am Shadow Shaman.
And he's actually tougher to gank in mid than he gets credit for. People forget that he does get more than just the level 1 Elder Dragon form gives him more than just that poison effect on his auto attack. Gives him more than just range. It gives him a lot of survivability. Looking at the draft so far, Liquid looking like a Liquid draft. IX Mike almost undoubtedly handling the Shadow Demon. Probably see Korok on the DK. Darkseer, going to be a Bulba hero. Nyx Assassin, played by Fluff, I'm sure of it. And on Artyk, Batrider, Bane, Nature's Prophet, Shadow Shaman. They've got an aggressive team. They've got a good team to deal with the Dragon Knight as well. Bane can really cause some problems for a DK if he's in the right position, if he's able to land the Fiend's Grip. Rubik is still available. If Team Liquid wants to draft it, they really wouldn't have anywhere to send it, though. Right now, they've got their long lane, they've got their mid. They're just looking for a carry, unless they want to surprise us and pick something like a typical mid, and then run Dragon Knight in the tri-lane. Looking at, right now, Artyk, there's no real way to know if that Bad Rider is going to be mid. And Bad still winds up mid from time to time, but at least 75% of the time I see Bad Riders make it into competitive play now. He winds up in the off lane. And it's because, again, as dominant as he can be
5 seconds.
in a solo mid one-on-one, the fact that he can jungle, even if he's only midland jungling, even if he's only going at a decent pace, not a great jungle pace, he can still have an 8 to 10 minute blink dagger up easy peasy. Set of tranks, 8 to 10 minute blink dagger. Not hard. Just because of how he feels out of there. And Morphling, going to be rounding out the 5 for Liquid. And I've mentioned this a couple of times today. I did a short written interview with a young lady named Caddy, working with Dota Cinema. And in the end of that interview, I said I'm calling it. Morphling will be picked and played at least a few times on the stage of the International 3 or the International 2013, which we all need to start calling it that, by the way.
Seconds remaining.
I'm so guilty of it because it was TI2 last year, but the Valve is subtly rebranding it as the International then year. So instead of it being TI2, we need to make sure we call it the International 2013 or TI213. TI13. Yeah, then it gets confusing. Regardless, not my problem. Sorry, Valve, trying to help. Artyk counterpicks the Luna. All right, so looking at the way these lanes are going to work, would imagine with the Bat and the Prophet both, chances are the Bat will be mid this time around. The supporting cast for Luna going to be solid with Bane and Shadow Shaman. They're going to have, they're not going to be facing any aggression here. The DK will be mid. It will be a defensively tri-lane Morphling with the Darkseer in the off lane. Darkseer going to have to watch his back a little bit. The Nightmare from Bane to lead things off. Shadow Shaman, 1-1-1. Get a point in Hex, point in Shackles. And Luna should be able to deal some pretty decent damage. It's going to be 3 ranged as well, so he's going to be careful how much damage he eats as he gets closer to the creep wave. And we'll see if he, against that kind of a tri-lane, if it were most other players, I would say it would almost certainly be a sacked off lane. And to be honest,
10 seconds
that's
remaining.
what we're seeing more often than not now, is teams are just so happy to just play ultra conservative, sack the off lane, and put a hero like a Darkseer into the jungle. And there's really nothing wrong with it. I mean, it makes for not the most entertaining early game in Dota for the most part. But nonetheless, very effective. And if I'm a pro Dota player, I'm more worried about winning. I will win in the most boring way possible. We will have a quick pause that'll let me remind you once again to make sure you hit follow here on twitch.tv/American Dota League. Want to have you back for all of the action. We got a lot coming up across the weekend. Friday, we got 5 matches. Saturday, we got 8. Then we'll be bouncing back after 2 days off on next Tuesday. DreamHack Summer coming up next week as well. I'll be bailing out, flying out of the Bay Area on Thursday. So, unfortunately, obviously, I won't be bringing you D2L or ADL broadcast from then until I arrive back from Sweden. But we'll be looking forward to, if there's anyone watching from Europe, I really hope if you happen to go to DreamHack, please, if you see me, come up and say hi, please. I want to meet all of you. I want to thank you guys, one-on-one, face-to-face, for the fact that I get to go to Sweden because of you guys. Doesn't have, I get up and I work hard. I try to do my best. That's fine. But a lot of people do that every day in their jobs. It's the support of the community and the support of you guys that gives me the ability to cast DreamHack. And I can't tell you what an honor it is to be able to say I was an official broadcaster for the most legendary name in esports when it comes to live LANs. And the International, when you look at DreamHack's history, it just started as one big LAN party. And that's basically what it remains today. Just a lot more to it. But still, just me and a couple thousand of my best friends getting together to play some games over the weekend. That's how it feels. And I would love it so much if you happen to see me walking around in Sweden. Please just say hello. Because I want to thank you guys, face to face, person to person, for all of the support you've shown. Hopefully, we'll be back underway in just a moment. And if you're liking what you're hearing and what you see, and don't only hit follow here, you can find me in various places across the webs as well. Twitch, it's twitch.tv/ACTV, AYESEE-TV. On Twitter is @AC, @AYESEE. Facebook, YouTube, all that stuff, ACTV. Easy peasy. Not hard to find. And Sec says TC, it's been more than a second, TC. Liquid really getting their stride back underway. And not just here in the ADL, but in the D2L as well. And I know talking to Bulba and talking to some of the other players, pretty good friends with those guys. A lot of them are actually still really jet-lagged from Shanghai. And it's not easy to understand why. Like, hell, I got jet-lagged just flying from West Virginia to San Francisco. And it took me about a week to adjust. Going from China back to the United States would have to be pretty rough. So we unpause. We are ready to get moving. Taking a look at the lineup, see who's handling who. Misko going to be playing on the Shadow Shaman. Bad Rider going to be handled by Smash. That is their mid players, so Smash likely taking him mid. Mihawk handling the Prophet, doing his haters going to hate walk, making his way into the jungle. Bane going to be played by Masuko, and Luna going to be handled by Iwo on the other side of the river. We got TC setting up shop in mid. Thought that would be Korok. Korok actually going to be farming. I should have known better. That's just me completely forgetting that Korok plays one of the best Morphlings in the West. Just completely slipped my mind. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Korok playing on the Morphling. TC is mentioned in mid. Nyx Assassin will be handled by Fluff as anticipated. The Bulbasaur going to be handling the Grape Crusader, known as Darkseer. And Shadow Demon, handled by one of his best handlers. That'll be IX Mike. Love watching Mike play Shadow Demon. So very good in his decision making and very, very patient. Such great decision making. So the lanes take shape, and Misko. I really love this this cosmetic set for the Shadow Shaman, by the way. I really do. Are they actually going to do a mid this? If they do, it'll be interesting. I mean, running Iwo out of mid with Mihawk in the jungle, with Smash solo laning along with Masuko. I mean, it's interesting. It's a nice concept because they want to deny TC everything they possibly can. The problem is, if they don't kill him or literally run him off the lane, which, I mean, right there, they're doing a good job. Ether Shock level 1 does good damage. But if they don't, this is what's going to happen. He's still going to get his farm because of Breathe Fire. He's going to have his bottle and 80 gold. So one more last hit, he'll have his bottle, basically. Once he gets a bottle, they have to control runes and worry about running him off and worry about not leeching each other's experience and worry about getting last hits. And if they don't do all of those things, TC's going to win here. He doesn't have to kill them. All he has to do is not get run off the lane. And he'll win by virtue of them splitting experience. We can already see. Level 1, TC level 2.5. They have been joined at the hip. TC even grabbing the creeps down the hill, juggling the creep aggro. Good deny there. And this is really going to be the matchup to watch. Shadow Shaman has pulled back, and now going to come back forward. Come! The Prophet doing his thing in the jungle. The TC again doing quite a decent job here. Already up to just about level 3. Luna's right behind him. But with the Shadow Shaman there to split the XP. Gets a little rough. TC just soaking experience right now. Not feeling too safe. Pre-rune. Going to be done by Misko. Now, this is very important. Guessed wrong. And let's see, is there going to be any rune control down here? That's a haste. Has his bottle on the way to him. Denied. And Luna shoving him back up under the tower. He is going to take some damage. Gets his bottle off of the Smeevil. And Misko will make his way down. Find himself an unclaimed haste rune. We'll see if he wants to do something with it. Grabs it. Yep. Going to make a run into the jungle. There's Bulba. And he is going to be Nightmare. He ate the Ether Shock. Bulba playing way too brave and ends up being our first blood. Misko didn't even really need to be there. Smash getting the job done here. Soaking up a lot of solo XP. And Mihawk quite happy. Take a little bit of help from Misko in the meantime. Level 3 now. Level 3 on him. Luna getting some much-needed solo experience, 3.5. The Dragon Knight about half a level ahead right now, just by virtue of how this lane has felt and gone so far. And TC doing his best to try and grab the creeps in a more favorable position. Is bottle crowing. Nay. Wait on that bottle to come back. The crow, for those who are not in the know, now moves considerably slower when it's an empty bottle. In other words, when he's carrying the bottle back to the base, it's much slower. We are going to see some pressure come out from Liquid. Now, this is the danger of running the Luna mid. This is why you don't see it more often. In theory, she's great one-on-one. But in practice, this happens. There's a disruption. TC with 1 point in the Dragon Tail. Will stun her out. He's going to have the Breathe Fire ready to roll. Impales there. Shackle. Locks him in place. He doesn't have the mana for Breathe Fire. Didn't even he did actually use his wand charges. But they end up going 1 for 1 there. So could have gone much better. I don't think TC really needed to run all the way to here. If he just positions himself right here, they had the stuns to clean her up. But nonetheless, 1 for 1 trade. Korok, the big winner so far. He's sitting at 27 last hits atop the CS board. TC already back into lane.
Top tower is under attack.
Bat enjoying a little bit of solo farm down in the safe lane. Has really not been inhibited at all. 1,000 gold in the bank for Mihawk. So about another 900 until he has his Midas. Misco with an invis up to level 4. Quick 6 on a Shadow Shaman can be very important. Nyx Assassin's actually doing a great job here though too. He's level 4 at 4 minutes in. And this has just been a strict stack and pull lane. So doing quite a good job. I mean, hell, they're almost as high up as the Dragon Knight is right now. And yeah, they're just about on par with Luna. So DK, just about a full level ahead now. Takes a little bit of damage, but all in all, not much to write home about. Korok will be getting his Wraith Band. Let's see if he wants an Aquila. But so far, both teams playing this pretty calm. Smash, just about 700 gold out from his Blink. Mihawk still making his way towards that Midas. Asuko, level 4.5 in his own right. He's doing quite well. IX Mike, a little short of 4. Korok is 6.5. Fluff, smidge past 4. Still making good progress. Almost level 6 on the DK. Luna playing catch up. Not that far behind now. And when I look at how these teams are going to feel, one big concern I have for Artyk is that when you look at their team, they have a lot of single target damage and Eclipse. They do have some AoE, don't get me wrong. Ether Shock, which is being focused, at least with 2 points in it from Misco right now. Bad Rider, single target lasso. Right-click damage out of the Prophet plus a Sprout. Bane, all single target. He can, now, granted, he has a lot of abilities. He can spread across multiple single targets, but still, for the most part. Then Luna's Glaives and the Eclipse. So, I mean, it's a decent mix. But when I compare that to the pure AoE damage output that Liquid's going to have from just Breathe Fire and just Waveform, if they get vacuumed in to a tight and close position and they chain those abilities together, you're going to see the supports come out almost dead immediately. And Iwo, engaged upon, ate the Dragon Tail. TC chasing him back. Bane's there, going to Nightmare the Dragon. And Iwo should be able to survive this.
Middle tower
Close.
under attack.
Yep, survived it. Actually, I'm not sure if that's lethal or not. I don't think it is now that I think about it. That's probably why. Very rarely, the damage over time from just one shot as you run away is actually not high enough. I've never actually seen it come that close just on the poison damage from DK. So I actually really don't know. I need to look that up. Whether that's lethal or not, or whether it's like Venomancer's ultimate. I'm going to guess it's probably like the ultimate. Zuko trying to chase him away. There's a Hex. Now they're going to follow it up. Shackled down. Here comes Mihawk. And TC trying to run. The Eclipse going to go off as well. I like that, Iwo. No half measures. No half measures. You don't know who's coming. You don't know if Liquid's coming. They get a good kill on the DK, and they currently lead on the scoreboard. Make it 3-1. Taking our first look at the gold. We can see Liquid actually is trailing in gold. The experience slightly in their favor. Still a very close game in both regards, though. But Artyk, again, I mean, we can already see it took quite a bit of effort to bring that DK down. And that's not going to be getting any easier. He's only got 1 point in the Dragon's Blood right now. Breathe Fire, just saw it do good damage there. And it looks like Liquid ready to make a run at the tier 1 top. It's at about half health right now. Smash has completed his Blink Dagger. And if I'm in Arctic's position right now, it's a small marginal lead, but I'm sure they recognize they have it. At this point, I'm saying I don't want to leave the bat to farm. Do not do that. Smash brother, it's time to head somewhere. It is time to get moving and make something happen. Kill TC. Trying to gank a Morphling's kind of like trying to nail Jello to the wall. So don't worry about that. But kill TC, gank him. Run with Ewo. Try to force a fight at top. You know, don't sit back against a team like Liquid. And it's not to say that Artyk is mechanically or anything unsound. It's just Liquid is Liquid. They're a professional team. These grinded out games, this is how you lose. It's how a lot of teams lose against pro teams. When they beat Dignitas, they pushed the issue when they got ahead. They did not fall back to grind. Grind games, and they're going to get a courier here.
Radiant's courier has
So
been
Liquid
killed.
getting the courier. And now showing their face around mid-tower. Going to take some tower shots. Ewo's back under the trees. And Misko sitting on top of the stairwell, keeping vigil.
Radiant's
Mihawk
bottom tower is under attack.
still needs about another 200 gold for his Midas. He'll be getting it up around around 11 minutes. Mike happy to take a little bit of farm. Really wants his level 6. Now against the Bat Rider of Artyk, Shadow Demon is actually a remarkable counter to the Bat. He jumps in, grabs your teammate, disrupt the Bat. And the range on disruption is deceptively large. There you go. You can get that off from pretty far away. So long as you're in a good position and you're quick on the trigger, there's not a whole lot that a Bat can do about it. 66 CS for Korok, tops on the board. Got 1,400 gold in the bank. We'll see what his big item choice is going to be. Against Artyk. I thought TC going to end up dead again. This is what Artyk needs to do. This is what they did to Dignitas. Gank. Move heroes around. Make Liquid adapt to your playstyle. Smash is still down here. He's going to be working straight towards a Force Staff. And I think that's just in response to everything I just said about Shadow Demon. Shadow Demons can be quick and effective against a Bad Rider, but once the Bat gets a Force Staff, it's tough to be that guy. Wards go down. Glyph will be used. Korok's going to be rotating his way down. This is going to be their first major test. Mike's there along with Fluff. And here comes TPN. That'll be TC. Nyx moves out, and Masuko beats the Vendetta. There's a very nice waveform on top of Mihawk. Kill him off, and Masuko, after being disrupted, cleaned up as well. So the Tier 1 tower going to be their prize. And by they, I mean Liquid being able to deny it. And we saw right there everything I was talking about. Breathe Fire, waveform, pretty strong. Pretty strong. Not having the Bat, you know, this is where Smash has got to shine. Like right now, if he has a team behind him, great time for him to try and get a target. The wards from Liquid, of course, make that a bit more difficult to do. But coming up on 12 minutes in, the gold is actually in favor of Liquid here. The experience back in favor of Liquid. This is what I was talking about. And again, I'm not saying Artyk necessarily is doing anything wrong, but you don't grind against Liquid. You got to set the tone. Even if you got to play a little reckless, you set the tone. And Ewo engaged upon by Korok. Lucent Beam stuns him out a bit. There's a Hex, and the Ether Shock to follow up. Ether Shock, I love the graphical effect on it now. And it's the sound on it's so good. It's not as good as Lion's Finger of Death, which is the most unpleasant sound in history. But it's up there. Mihawk or Bane. What's it going to be here? He's poking around. And was just spotted. There was the ping out of Bane. Going to be straight up BKB for Ewo. And I understand why. When you look at, again, just Breathe Fire and Waveform, that is so much damage to deal with at this stage of the game. It really is. 300 for the Dragon Knight's Breathe Fire. And 325. So that's a 625 unmitigated nuke. When those two hit in the same general vicinity on top of each other. And they have a Darkseer. So you can understand the problem. Getting the BKB up. Understandable. I do worry that Ewo's rushing it a bit. Not even getting an Aquila. Not even getting a set of drums. Hell, not even getting a Yasha. And he's going to feel a little bit thin. He's not going to have great stats. He's not going to be moving too particularly quick. His armor's going to linger around 7 for a while. And against this team, they have magic and they have right click. TC's right click is not something to sneeze at.
Dire's top tower is under
They're
attack.
going to look to just trade tier 1s here. No glyph for Liquid. Wards go down. They're going to be the ones who are able to finish this tower up.
Radiant's bottom tower is under Radiant's
And we'll see if they
bottom
want to push.
tower
Here in
has
mid,
fallen.
Korok going to be caught with the Fiend's Grip. And trying to morph his strength through it, actually has an Invis rune. He is going to be going the Eth Blade. Already got the Ghost Scepter as well. And Bulba making his way down. He's going to be spotted, grabbed and lassoed by Smash. Dragging him towards the hero with very little help. Here comes Fluff, going to use it on Ewo. Vendetta gets the kill. Smash, Demonic Purge. Here's the waveform back from Korok. They clean him up. And Artyk putting on their big boy britches and finding out they don't fit so good. They itch a bit. Fiend's Grip was good. Almost killed off Korok. But then the initiation onto the Darkseer, onto a Luna, who was sitting at about a 5th health. That's risky. Because Eclipse is not going to kill the DS thing. Not one who's doing as well as Bulba is. With his mech, he's got a Soul Ring. He's almost level 11. He does have a point in the wall. Took it to 10, so he'll take his second point in the wall at 11. Nyx with 1,000 gold in the bank. The Morphling's actually very, very close. He's just about halfway to his Eagle Song, which he'll use with that Ghost Scepter to build the Eth Blade. And that will be bad news for this guy right here, and for this guy right here. Masuko and Misko going to be having a hard life once that Eth Blade comes out. Liquid going to smoke and double back. And they're going to move towards the Radiant Secret Shop, probably. Want to head in this direction. And, yep, Fluff leading the charge under cover of Vendetta. They're going to walk up and stare over the edge. And here we go. They're going to go for it. Sentry goes down just in time to see him before the Vendetta. Mana Burn to follow it up. Carapace is used. There's a Hex, but no real follow-up. Heard the Demonic Purge on Misko. They pulled down the Luna. And now Misko vacuumed right into the heart of the storm. And he'll be cleaned up. Fluff on a killing spree. And Smash needs to be careful, I was going to say. He needs to use his Blink Deck. Liquid might try to push here. They can if they want. I mean, the push power of that Dragon Knight should not be underestimated. And with the Luna down, they can't fight. They just can't. Prophet working on Shadow Blade. Even once he gets the Shadow Blade up, he's not going to be a super huge threat to this squad. Luna has to be there for them to fight.
Radiant's top tower
Blink
has
Dagger
fallen.
finished on Fluff. Going with the mobility build Nyx, becoming more and more common. Really the most common, I suspect. 700 gold till the Shadow Blade's done on the Prophet. Korok did finish his Eth Blade off of that. And this is going to be ugly. This is going to be genuinely unpleasant. He's going to spot poor Mitsuko at level 7. And poor Masuko and poor Misko. And yeah, we're just going to watch him. It's going to happen here in a minute. He's just going to see a support and wall out. 3 of the top 4 in terms of pure net worth belonging to Liquid right now. The numbers are relatively close except for Korok, who is just 8 miles ahead. And there's Smash, and there you go. Immediately cleaned up. That's all it takes. There's a Fiend's Grip on the Korok, though. They may be able to get the return kill, and they do. So not really worth it there. Good Shackle follow-up, and Liquid making the same mistake Artyk did. Put on their big boy pants, and didn't really fit. Got a little too aggressive. Eyes a little bigger than their stomachs. Jumping on the poor Bad Rider, showing off the new Eth Blade, and end up feeding 2 kills back, so well played by Artyk. The gold, though, still very much in favor of the professional team. Just a reminder that Artyk did upset Dignitas when these two teams met earlier this week. So this is a team with a major win against a professional squad already under their belt. And the closest thing we have so far to a Cinderella in the ADL. They're currently sitting in 2nd place, if I'm not mistaken, of the ADL standings. Shadow Blade done on the Prophet. BKB, the next major choice for TC. He'll have it soon, only 500 gold out. And this is what I was talking about. You know, talking about during the draft and the strength of the Dragon Knight pick. He's been doing his thing, contributing a lot of magic damage with Breathe Fire, push power with the Elder Dragon form. In about 500 gold, he's going to have a BKB. He's going to have 10 seconds of magic immunity and 19 armor. How are Artyk ever going to kill him? They just don't have the damage. They do not have the damage. Period. They could right-click him all they want. Shadow Blade or not on the Prophet, be damned. They're going to have to land the perfect Fiend's Grip, lasso him after, lasso him through his magic community, hope that he doesn't come out and just blow up one of the supports, and also hope that during that time he doesn't have any help coming from the rest of his team. And, you know, this is the danger when you pick a lineup like Artyk has and the way they laned it. They're beginning to stagnate a bit. You can feel it. They were pushing. They were feeling a little bit more dynamic a while ago. But now it's Liquid who's setting the pace for the most part. They're going to move into mid. Borak with that Eth Blade, 686 gold in the bank. We'll see what he wants to grab next. One little dendron. I can never pronounce this. They're labeled treants, but they actually have a name like Dendrotron. It's not Dendrotron. Dendecteron. Something like that. One little guy watching Roche Bits. Liquid not going to try it. They're going to move the top. Fluff leading the way. Under cover of Vendetta. Nisco is going to be spotted. There's the immediate Hex. He's going to TP away, and the Impale interrupts that. Helps to come and don't know that he needs it. Nisco, with after the mana burn, has nothing. F-Blade and Adaptive Strike. That's cold. Getting shotgun. Totally just used the word shotgun as a verb. It's like getting box cuttered. Not pleasant. We're 20 minutes in. We got 15 kills on the board. Liquid owns the majority of them by about a third. 9-6. The score they lead by which they lead. 5,000 gold in their favor. 3,000, almost 4,000 experience. And it's beginning to reach a point where Artyk has to have this little alarm clock that's been going off for the last, I don't know, 2-3 minutes. Going, Morphling's getting farm, and our Luna is not a threat. Because that's exactly what it is. A bit of a hybrid build out of Ewo. Getting the Helm of Iron Will gives him +5 to the armor, which is nice. Now going to work on a BKB. Needs about another 900 gold to get it. But the Morph's already had an Eth Blade. He's got 1,600 gold. He's going to be able to just go straight Manta if he wants. And get away with murder, basically. With BD, they're going to take a shot at Roshan, and I don't know that they could challenge this. Even if they know what's going on, there's just no way they can stop it. BKB done on TC now. Liquid in a great position. Roshan drops. And they may hook up and try to push bottom. They've got a decent creep wave down here. Prophet, 1,500, make it 1,600 gold with his Shadow Blade. Misco, not a whole lot. Got a bracer around his wrist. Smash did finish his Force Staff to go with his Blink Dagger, so his mobility through the roof. Masuko, not a whole lot. Some brown boots. And his pride, I guess. And 960 gold now in the inventory of Ewo, so he needs about 400. Liquid, in the meantime, is hooked up. They got two, chasing down a kill in mid. And Mihawk going to use his Shadow Blade. Waveform through. Fluff. Unless he just gets super lucky. They don't have vision. Now Fluff's just going to head north and hope for the best. That's exactly what he's doing. Was just heading, hoping he'd be there when the Shadow Blade wore off. Down at bottom, Mike's actually going to bail. They may try to defend this top tier 2. While TC lays into the tier 2 bottom with the enemy team. And Smash trying to make something happen. Going to be able to interrupt this so TC can't get there. They're going to have to fight through it regardless. We're going to see Misco eating a lot of damage. There's the Eclipse. Misco cleaned up. Liquid just too strong. Too many illusions. And that went about as well as it possibly could have. TC still might be in trouble, perhaps. And he's just going to go back and say, hell with it. They popped the glyph finally. And TC with a valiant effort, unfortunately for him. Well played by Artyk as they kill him off. But up at top, they lost the battle. Nonetheless, despite being in a one-man advantage. And not just a one-man, like a very big advantage with the DK not being there. Level 11, level 2 Elder Dragon form. The level tier 2 top gone as well. And tier 2 mid, the last outer tier tower remaining for Artyk. Morphling, Aegis in his inventory, 4,000 gold in the bank. And we'll see what he wants to pick up. He will go ahead and grab a...
I should thank you.
Oh, not sure what he picked up. I guess he finished his wand or something. Oh, there we go. Just bottling and such. But 4,000 gold in the bank. Could one shot buy a BKB if he wanted it. Don't think he does. Don't think he needs it. probably gonna, he could do something like, we'll just save up in one shot, buy a butterfly, go buy an ultimate orb, and make up your mind what you want to do with it, Lincoln's or Scotty later. Don't even worry about it. But what's going to happen is Arctic's going to begin to get choked out. This is what most professional teams do. It's what Liquid does. Get a lead, make it so the other team really cannot afford to fight you, and Aegis is a good way to do that. Move into their jungle and strangle them. Take their jungle away, make them try to split push you out of their own long lane to make you bag. And then you can choose to just abuse the fact that they're not going to push as fast as you, or you can try to TP. Lasso going to grab Bulba. Wards go down. Bulba will try to mech through it, but will be cleaned up. So Liquid loses one of their own, and Artyk continues to show signs of life. Gotta love that about this squad. They're not about to give up. Speaking of ultimate orbs, Mihawk has picked up one of his own. Would imagine he'll be on his way to a Mystic Staff next, hoping to get a Scythe of Ice. Smash has not added much, but then again, he doesn't have to add much. TC is actually gonna go Sange. Could be an S and Y, could be a Halberd. Halberd would make a stupid amount of sense, really. Because where's the physical damage, if not on Luna? I mean, eventually, you know, you can always say, well, Prophet will build physical damage. Well, yeah. So could Witch Doctor. But Mihawk's not doing that. He's building an ultimate orb on his way to a Scythe of Ice. It'll help him a bit. But you shut the Lena down, take her glaives out of the equation. She's already not in that great a shape. And that's GG. TC. We'll see what he wants to do with the Sange. He could just go S and Y, too. Nothing wrong with that. Low movement speed. Little get up and get around. There's Fluff showing off the Blink Dagger again, engaging on the Mihawk. And Dust goes off. Lincoln Sphere will be the choice on Morphling. Been a while since I've seen a Morph for the Lincolns. Feels like he has enough damage and such out of it. Life is not fun to be a support on Artyk right now. Free kill. Here comes TC. Re-engage again. He's going to BKB. And Masuko trying to get the Fiend's Grip off, not going to be able to do so. And yep, there's the Eclipse that will help clean up the Aegis at the very least, but here comes the Darkseer. Uses the wall, good vacuum. BKB forced out of it. Bulba's burning to death, unfortunately for him. Smash, caught with the Adapter Strike. This will be, whoa, that'll be 5. That might be GG.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
As they took that, I mean, not the tightest play out of Liquid, really. They came in at weird angles, didn't have their Nyx Assassin. But nonetheless, just getting overpowering in their lead. 5 digits now, up to 10,000 gold, 12,000 experience.
Radiant's middle
And
tower
Korok just a little too big. Having that Lincoln's up.
Middle tower has fallen.
Having the F-Blade up. We saw just how quick Misko died there. There's just really not a whole lot that Artyk can do. You saw how quick, by the way, Korok died whenever he engaged and got caught a little bit. He must have morphed every single point he had into agility because he died very quickly. But it also explains why he blew up Misko for about 1 gazillion points of damage. Back to the Prophet. He's going to be 500 gold away from his Mystic Staff. Problem with, you know, Scythe of Ice, it's hard to point to an item that's better on Beyond. But, you know, you look at how hard it is to track these heroes down, the fact that TC already has a BKB, Morphling's very hard to get a grip on. Hee. Play on words. And I worry that he's going to end up nuked down before he can do a lot with it. He doesn't have a Blink Dagger, you know. And, you know, Prophet again, and Nyx Assassin just gets a free kill. That's what Nyx Assassin does. Free kills. That's going to be Dagon done. But yeah, TC looking great in his farm. Yep, that will be a Halberd. And what do you do now? Where's your physical damage?
Come.
Mihawk will do what he can, hitting for 156 damage. And honestly, sad thing is that's more than Luna is right now. Luna just has not had that great of a game. The net worth, we can see she's been below the DK. So hell, maybe you should just use it on the Prophet, because really it's only going to be on the primary target that damage like this is going to show itself. The glaives are good, but tend to not be overpowering until later. Nyx going to walk right up on a sentry and end up dead. Poor Fluff. They just dropped that. And wow, Fiend's Grip actually used there. The rest of Liquid just going to back out. Sit back and farm. Mike going to be getting his team of lads. Nothing wrong with that. Already has up a set of drums. This is the richest I've seen Mike in a long time. Twirling that mustache with that gold. Bulba. Tanking up. Got himself a vitality booster. Still sitting on brown boots. Has an ultimate orb of his own. Most likely working on a Scythe of Ice. To go into his own collection. Yasha Manta now going to be the choice out of Korok. Halberd done on the DK. And again, I think the next time these heroes all hook up and fight, it's going to look pretty bad. Mihawk did finish his Scythe of Ice. And they are going to need it. They are going to need it badly. They need something to get them going. Korok's spotted out. He is going to waveform away. Looks like he knew what was up. Heads back to his team. Continuing to farm very quickly. You can imagine being a fairly fed Morphling. Let's see if they just want to slow push this. Ewo has his BKB up. 2,300 gold in the bank. Not sure what he's going to want to grab next. But Liquid doing as they should. Strangle out the enemy. Don't let them into their own jungle. Make them farm 2 lanes and 2 lanes only. Coming up on 14,000 gold to the advantage of Liquid. Same in terms of experience. Korok with his replicate available. Playing some chest out Dota. Might even go for a snipe here. You really might. He will be spotted, but we'll pull back. Liquid taking their time. Probably just hurling out another Rosh. Yeah, it's going to be about 45, 50 seconds until the next Roshan is up. Why take a chance? Just keep the enemy pushed in. Fall back strategically. Go to Roshan. Go win the game. Luna coming up on level 16. And again, just control the map. Wow, they just get Bane for free and use Replicate to do it. Right there, little squirrel. Kind of dancing around on the corpse, or at least he was. Roche will be back up in just a few seconds. The old Happy New Year routine momentarily. Such a cool thing. Happy New Year. Liquid. Almost doubling up their opponents now in terms of kills. Korok has a DD right when he wants it the most. And he can solo Roche. Literally. Doesn't even need help. He's hitting for 500 damage, give or take. When the DD is up. Now he may need some.
Thanks.
Roshan has fallen to the down.
And this should be a victory lap, essentially, for Liquid. Artyk not going to go quietly, of course. He will muster a fight. Will muster the defense. But would imagine Liquid's going to be closing this out soon. Manta, already done. Again, the Halberd on the DK, so Luna's going to be a complete non-factor. Prophet, hell. And at this level, he probably hits harder. Give or take. I mean, with
Uproot and after that.
yeah, he does, I think. It's close. I give it to Luna. So Luna, going to be an on-factor. There's a disruption. And here we go. See there's ulting. There's the flame break. Disrupt it. With Manta done, they're going to be forced to pop the glyph. There's a lasso. They got the real one. And wards go down. TC survives. And Wall's going to be there looking for the vacuum. Korok going to town. Losing a lot of health, though. Has the morph strength. Rest of the battle raging on. Disruption. Very clutch out of Mike. He just disrupted Bulba with no health. Oh, Mike. That may as well have been a shallow grave. Did he make it out? He did. This guy right here. Oh, Mike. Not that it mattered. The match was essentially over. And I'm not saying that to degrade Artyk. I mean, just a well-played game by Liquid. But Mike made a big play there. If Bulba had more than 5% HP, then I'm a Pit fan. And those who understand West Virginia athletics know I ain't a Pit fan. 10-24. And looks like Liquid going to be closing things out. GG comes out from Artyk. Artyk put up a good fight. Their laning phase went pretty well. But in the end, Liquid, and this is what I was talking about, especially with their lineup, built the way it is. Liquid's just not a team you ever want to find yourself trying to grind it out against. You just don't have a whole lot to gain from it. There's the Ancient. And that'll put this Thursday in the books. Team Liquid playing twice today, getting 2 wins over Artyk and Insight. Artyk splitting the series 1-1, losing to Liquid here and beating Insight as well. Poor Insight adds 2 more to the loss column as they occupy the cellar all by their loathsome selves right now. 25-10, the final kill tally, 33 minutes, 32 seconds. The final kill, or the final time, final official game time, I should say. And Liquid taking over sole possession of first place now in the ADL. Don't forget, guys, we're going to be back over the next 2 days with a lot of action. The D2L out of commission tomorrow, so I won't be occupied with that in the morning. But starting right around noon, if I'm not mistaken, Pacific Standard Time, Pacific Daylight Time, we'll be kicking things off on a 5-game day. And then on Saturday, we got 8 of them coming at you, starting at right around 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I think. I can double check it real quick, and I shall. Do not want to misinform you at all. And yeah, kicking off 10 a.m. Pacific Time. So make sure you hit follow here on twitch.tv/American Dota League. And of course, make sure you keep up with us on Twitter. On Twitter, it's at American Dota. You can find me as well. I'm at AC at AYESEE. And on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/ACTV. Once again, guys, Liquid getting the best of both teams. A split for Artyk and O2. The finishing tally on today for Insight Avel, who will fall to 0-6, and again, to the bottom of the standings. Following the wins today, Liquid's going to be sitting at 7-1, right ahead of Evil Geniuses, who are currently the only undefeated team remaining. They're at 5-0 in second place. Dignitas and Artyk tied up with 4 wins apiece. Artyk going to be just behind Dignitas, though. Or no, actually just ahead. They'll be 5-3 after today's shenanigans. Once again, thanks so much for being a part of the American Dota League, no matter what part of the globe you happen to call home. Good morning, evening, or afternoon. Just hope, whatever time of day it is, you enjoyed spending it with us. I'm AC, and on behalf of the ADL, the American Dota League, have a good night and enjoy some Dota.